I did an interview with Rabbi Dr. Akiva Tatz, a really special man, and we spoke about Torah prophecy, about the end times, and it was talking. He spoke about various prophecies about the wars that could happen and could manifest. But I had a few comments from people of Chabad background, and this is why I wanted to ask the question to you, who said that apparently the Rebbe said that actually the birth pangs of that build up to Moshiach, the Messianic era, are now over. Is that what the Rebbe said? And if so, what does that mean?
I'm not familiar with an exact quote from the Rebbe. If the Rebbe would say there's supposed to be a war before Mashiach comes, well, we haven't had enough wars. We've had the wars, enough. That's not a prediction, it's an argument. And the argument is okay, so we're supposed to have wars. We had wars. Don't lobby for more wars.
Interesting.
So, so it's not a prediction or a statement of fact. The Rebbe is constantly lobbying God on our behalf. So everyone should say that. If we have to have wars, we've had them. How many? Well, we need one more. We don't need one more. So in principle, there shouldn't be another war. And if there is a war, it should be purely ideological. No bombs, no killing, just an ideological showdown, because that has to be resolved.
Hmm.
So if you have a group of people who say, we are commanded by God to kill you, say, oh, well, that's fine. That's your belief. No, it's not your belief. It's my life. So, well, let's be tolerant. Let's be tolerant of other people's faith. That's not going to work. So the ideology has to be resolved,
Hmm.
and it shouldn't involve bullets. Are we resolving that conflict? Is anybody dealing with the ideological problems?
It's very hard to get people's attention on these matters. I know the world's attention is on Israel, but
No, the media's attention.
yeah, the media's attention. Um, but starting to bring it into the divine biblical territory, it's people don't always respond well or with interest, but some do, and it's becoming it's definitely easier today than it was before the world's attention was on us. But how many are doing it doesn't seem like it's a common theme in the media.
The Rebbe did it. The Rebbe fought the ideological battle, and it threatened the extremists. There were a number of plans against the Rebbe's life. Because ideologically, the Rebbe was the only real threat.
Mm.
So if there has to be a final conflict because some prophecy says that it should be. Um, let it be an ideological one.
Yeah, yeah,
But we don't have to interpret it and then anticipate another war and scare everybody by saying it.
right, right. And interestingly, I noted on a previous conversation we had, um, you were saying that Esav, the West, has really surrendered in terms of their desire to conquest the land and everything. And that made a lot of sense to me. And I saw, Israel was fighting its battles primarily with Ishmael and the Persians, and that's what we've been seeing in recent years. But over the last few months, and certainly since Israel's war against Iran and Iran's nuclear program has been scaled back, starting to see now the bigger issue coming down the tracks for Israel looks like it's Western hostility rising again. We're seeing today, Britain, France, Canada saying we're going to recognize the state of Palestine unless Israel stops in Gaza. I see coming down the tracks that no one knows what will come tomorrow, but from what I'm seeing, it looks like hostility in the West is rising again. And in fact, when I spoke to Rabbi Tatz, one of the things he said, he related a prophecy in the Zohar, which says that the final war will be the Western nations going to war against Israel, using the Arabs as a point of attack. Now, he also acknowledged this may well be ideological. We don't know no one actually knows how this will manifest in reality. But do you see the Western world and their hostility rising again as becoming like a phenomenon that's going to continue to emerge?
Maybe, but they're not trying to conquer the land. They don't want Israel.
Well, let me just quote the Zohar. It says, the children of Ishmael are destined at that time to incite all the nations of the world to come to Jerusalem together with them. As it is written, I will gather all of the nations to Jerusalem for war. All the nations will ready themselves against Jerusalem and make peace among themselves. They will turn against Israel to annihilate it for having established its own government. Incredible. This was written by the Zohar so long ago. It will be a time of distress for Jacob, yet they will not collapse but be saved from their distress. So yeah, it doesn't sound like it's about conquering the land per se, but it is about destroying Israel.
Yeah, but that's not what the Arabs want. The Arabs want the land. I don't know, the Arabs, the Muslims, maybe not all Muslims, but the ones we're contending with want the land unconditionally because it's an inheritance, so they shouldn't have to do anything to have the land. So whether they're virtuous or not, whether they deserve it or not, it's their land. It's a matter of honor.
And that presumably is what will lead the Western nations to get involved. And it is what is leading them at the moment. They think that Ishmael has a point.
Maybe, yeah. They say people always go with the winners. You always want to be associated with the winners. Are they seeing Hamas as the winners? We're gloating about how Israel is winning this battle. Do they know that? Or do they think Hamas is winning? And they want to go with the winner? They may think Hamas is winning.
Well, certainly the Palestinian cause, which Hamas embodies ultimately.
Yeah. So the real challenge is, how will the truth be stated How will it be worded? Where? When? Because that will be the solution.
Mm.
Until then, it's just,
And do you think the truth needs to be stated? Is it just that it needs to be stated, or it needs to be stated compellingly? Because you've argued that simply stating the truth itself resonates with people, even without justification or qualification.
yeah, it just has to be said confidently, with conviction,
Mm. Why is it that that truth will resonate with non-Jews?
because it's true.
Isn't that
Do
what
we
they
not
call a
believe?
tautology?
But don't we believe that truth has a power that, or maybe we've forgotten that. Maybe all power lies in a better lie.
So can you just elaborate on that? Explain why truth does have power for those who may not fully have absorbed that.
There's an instinct in human beings that identifies truth instinctively. The mind can play games and make up all sorts of stuff, but there is a truth within us that recognizes truth around us. And it's always been very powerful,
Mm.
highly neglected in recent times. I think since the 50s, where we basically came to the conclusion that since we can't know which opinion is true, then there probably is no truth. And that cynicism has been running the world. All the leaders of the world today are cynical. You don't have to tell the truth.
So
Just come
true.
up with a lie.
And the worst part is they know that we know they're being cynical, and we know that they know they're being cynical.
And that's all there is. Nothing else
Yeah.
left. But if we don't believe in truth, what are we arguing over? Whoever can kill anybody else better wins. We're back to the Old West. If I can shoot you, then I shoot you, and I don't have to apologize.
Mm.
The fact that I can shoot you means I'm better equipped to survive, and that's the whole thing. Survival of the fittest. So if I have a bigger bomb, then I win. So people are very selectively cynical. If they feel like they're losing, you say, "Oh no, 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 no! You got to go with the truth." Yeah. So we need to know not what the Geneva Conference says, but what the Torah says. The Geneva Conference and then the Oslo agreements, they don't claim to be true. It's an arrangement. It's a compromise. It doesn't claim to be true.
Mm.
Torah is true. The land of Israel is meant for the children of Israel. Always. So why can't we just give up the good lie and tell the simple truth? And you have to believe it works, otherwise, you've lost the game. It's over. May the best man win. So if they're winning, what are you complaining about? If you're winning, what are they complaining about? Just fight to the finish and see who survives. There's no right or wrong, but there is. There is right or wrong. The truth will come out. The question is how, where, and when.
Yeah.
So the Torah says it will come out of Jerusalem. That's for sure. Whether another war will come out of Jerusalem, we've had enough wars. But that the truth will come forth from Jerusalem,
It also looks like. Go on.
The whole world expects it.
Right. And it also looks like the prophetic writings all say that whatever this war is, it's all centered around Jerusalem.
Yeah. And Jerusalem's response has to be, this is God's word. This is how it's going to be.
The Islamic Republic of Iran. For over 4 decades, its leaders have stood defiantly, their voices thundering through Tehran's streets, chanting death to Israel and waging a relentless war on the West. But what fuels this fierce, unyielding hatred? Is it politics? A grab for regional power? Or something even more profound? A theology that casts Israel and the West as cosmic enemies in a divine battle for the end of days. In this JTV Plus documentary, we embark on a journey to unravel the apocalyptic beliefs at the core of Iran's revolution. We'll uncover the sacred Shia doctrines that prophesy a world reborn through chaos, where a hidden redeemer, the Mahdi, will rise to vanquish evil, with Israel and America as the ultimate foes. We'll dive deep into the mystical visions of a global Islamic order, where martyrdom and jihad pave the path to divine victory. We'll explore how these ancient beliefs shape Iran's every move, from its fiery rhetoric to its deadly proxy wars. From the revolutionary sermons of Ayatollah Khomeini, who ignited a nation, to the shadow wars of spies, cyber attacks, and missiles that have pushed the region to the brink. We'll trace the arc of a regime bent on reshaping history, and we'll reveal the climactic moment when Israel struck back with Operation Rising Lion. A daring, high-stakes operation that shook the world and redefined the conflict. This is not just a story of a nation, but of a creed that seeks to rewrite the future, a conflict that threatens to engulf us all. Join us as we expose the hidden truths behind what Iran sees as its sacred mission, its unrelenting rage, and the battle for our world's destiny. To watch this JTV Plus documentary and access much more premium content, click on the link in the video description.